Hey guys, welcome to Command Lounge. In the spirit of St. Patty's Day, I decided to go with a mono green Tiny Leaders deck tech for today. The name of the deck is called Ezuri Elf Ball Leader. If you guys don't know what an elf ball strategy is, it's essentially tribal elves to the point where you use a whole bunch of mana producing elves and effect with cards like Genesis Wave or just the ability to overrun them all and just get into the red zone for the win. I would have to say that Ezuri Renegade Leader is probably one of the top decks in Tiny Leaders format. It's probably a tier 1 deck. This deck, however, I didn't completely optimize it. I didn't build it to the perfect elf ball strategy. Like, there's probably missing some pieces, but it still pretty much runs the same. And I would have to say, I know this deck is missing Raphaelos. That's one of the big pieces that it's missing, that it's like an automatic include in this deck. But besides that, it pretty much plays the same as any of the other elf ball decks, any other of these decks will play. You know, and it's actually a very good budget deck. If you guys are looking for a cheap, very competitive way to play this format, Ezuri Renegade Leader is definitely your person to pick. Now, also in the spirit of St. Patty's Day, I decided in the multiverse today, all the elves are going to turn into leprechauns. So I will try to stick to naming everything a leprechaun instead of an elf. We'll see how I do with that. Probably not going to do too good. So let's just go into the stats of this leprechaun. Okay, so his name's Ezuri Renegade Leader. He is 2 green and 1 colorless for a 2/2. And you pay a green and you regenerate another target leprechaun. And that's a really good ability for when you're protecting creatures like Priest of Titania or any other mana producing leprechaun. So the best ability though on this card is the second one, and that is you pay 3 and 2 colorless, and leprechaun creatures you control get +3/+3 and gain trample until end of turn. This is probably the main way you're going to win the game, is by bringing out a whole bunch of mana producers, tapping them, and just pumping up all the other elves and attacking in for the win. So let's get into the rest of the deck. Alright, these are my mana producing leprechauns. The first one is Finehorn Leprechauns. Next we got Heritage Druid. And we got Civic Wayfinder. Priest of Titania is amazing in this deck because it does it for, it adds a green for each leprechaun you control on the battlefield. We also have Farhaven Leprechaun. Llanowar Leprechauns. Leprechaunish Harbinger is amazing because not only does it add 1 mana of any color, which is pointless, it's always going to be green, but it's a tutor. It can go grab your Leprechaunish Archdruid, or it can grab your Priest of Titania, which those will automatically pump you up really quick to start going crazy, and with, you know, Genesis Wave or with Ezuri's ability. And then we have Finehorn Elder, Leprechaunish Mystic, Crayon Ranger, Green Reaver Druid. Llanowar Druid's really good because you can sack her to untap all 4s. Leprechaunish Pioneer. Once again, Leprechaunish Archdruid. It is crazy. It pumps all elves +1/+1, and you add 1 mana for each leprechaun you control. It's just crazy. It's really good. We have Arbor Leprechaun, Freudian Emissary, Jiraga Tree Speaker. And now we go into our Lords of the Leprechauns. And Aladamri, Lord of Leaves, is really good because the main ability that leprechauns cannot be target of spell or ability. That is very good because there's a lot of, you know, different types of spot removal. There's not too many rats, but there's a ton of spot removal in this format. And you want to get around that. You want to basically build all your leprechauns up to start tapping for a crazy amount of mana. You don't really want to block to die or anything like that. You just want to keep them out and produce as much mana as possible. Our next Lord is Leprechaunish Champion, which all leprechauns get +1/+1 in Forest Walk. Forest Walk can be relevant. Alright. And next we have Imperious Perfect. Other elves get 1/1, pay 1 green, tap to add a 1/1 green Leprechaun Warrior creature token into play. And now we go into our other utility Leprechauns. We have Leprechaunish Visionary. Just draw a card and 1/1, pretty good. Winter Patrol is just basically I just picked. This is probably not the card that should be in here, but I really loved this card when it first came out, and I try to build a standard deck with it and stuff like that. And the kinship abilities at the beginning of your upkeep, you may look at the top card of your library. If it shares a creature type with Winter Patrol, you may reveal it. If you do, put a 1/1 counter on Winter Patrol, and it's a 3/2 for 3, which is really good just to begin with. And the kinship, it's just you get it out in the beginning, and this might take over a game if because this deck is just all leprechauns, so it should be able to get there. So I don't know, I haven't tested too much with it. I'll let you know what I think about Winter Patrol later. Next we have Nettle Sentinel, and I liked him just because he's a very aggressive leprechaun. He comes out as a 2/2 for 1, which is great. This card is also amazing. Capricorn Scout. You pay 1 for a 1/1. Whenever Capricorn Scout attacks, untap each other creature you control, and that's really good because the creatures that you tap that turn originally for its mana ability to pump all the leprechauns on the field with Ezuri's ability. It can then untap them all, and then you can tap them and then activate the ability again, so you can get multiple activations out of Ezuri's ability. Alright, and these are my other utility spells, which I have Aether Vial, which essentially just spits out leprechauns as quick as possible. We have Leprechaunish Guidance, which enchants a land and adds green for each leprechaun I control and play. And then Druid's Repository is really good, because you can actually essentially put this out, and not with Ezuri, you don't even have to tap any of your mana producing leprechauns. You could just attack in with them all and then just remove all the charge counters and activate Ezuri's ability that way. Overrun ability. And next we have Concordant Crossroads, and this is an insanely good combo with Genesis Wave, but it's also good just playing on turn 1, just so you can get your leprechauns out, tapping for mana real quick. Like, you can just start playing Llanowar, Leprechaun, tap into Leprechaunish Mystic, and just start going crazy. Just start spitting out elves. Well, leprechauns. Sorry, I already messed up. Mess up count 1. And then these are my win conditions. We have Joraga Warcaller. If Ezuri gets too much, if Ezuri just keeps on getting killed off over and over again, this is nice to have as an alternate win condition, because it essentially does the same thing. You pay 1 green for a 1/1 with multi-kicker green and a colorless, and for every time it's kicked, it gets a 1/1 counter on it. But the main thing is that other leprechaun creatures you control get 1/1 for each +1/+1 counter on Joraga. So that could be an automatic win. That's the way when I was playtesting with my sister, she absolutely crushed me with this card, which kind of hurt. Okay, this is the other win condition. It's just Genesis Wave, just a whole bunch of leprechauns that produce mana, and then just pump into this, mixed with Concordant Crossroads, or the other win condition in here that I'm going to show you in a second. Genesis Wave is extremely powerful in this deck. Like, it can win a game by itself, just going crazy with all your mana. And then with Genesis Wave, you hope to hit this card, Beastmaster Ascension. So essentially, you would like to hit, Concordant Crossroads, Beastmaster Ascension, and a bunch of elves, and then just come in and, pump them all up. If you guys don't know what Beastmaster Ascension is, it's 3 mana for whenever a creature you control attacks, you may put a quest counter, and as long as you have 7 quest counters, all your creatures get +5/+5. Like, honestly, this card, you could just spit out a bunch of elves, or a bunch of leprechauns. Did it again, damn it. You just spit out a bunch of leprechauns, and then just go into the red zone, and they all turn into at least 6 6s, which is amazing. It's a nice way to win the game. Alright, now for the lands. I believe we have 15 Forest. Yeah, so 15 Forest, and then we have Cavern of Souls. Of course, you gotta name Leprechaun with this card now, obviously. But yeah, you if you guys don't know what Cavern of Souls does, basically it just makes your creatures uncounterable for the chosen creature type. And then we have Wirewood Lodge, which is you tap for a colorless, and the ability's insane, where you just pay green, you tap, and then you untap target Leprechaun. Which is real good with Priest of Titania, Elvish Archdruid, or and Leprechaunish Archdruid. This is tough doing this. I see people like replacing words in videos, and yeah, I gotta give you guys props because this is a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be. But yeah, if you have a Ruffellos, this card is insane with it. Just any of the tap for mana or Leprechauns, amazing. Tectonic Edge should probably be Wasteland, but I don't own a Wasteland, so I run this instead, and it's good. You know, it will get rid of the bad the crazy utility lands that you don't like, that you don't want to see anymore. And now we go into the sideboard. Now this is probably the worst part of this deck tech. You know, some of it's pretty good, but I wouldn't really listen to all of this because I just threw this together mainly to get people into tiny leaders or to you know, play test with my Rada deck. So let's get into it. I got Freudian Zealot. It's just good artifact or enchantment removal with a Leprechaun body. We got President of Gond. I believe this could be good for control, so I just threw it in. We got Guy's Herald, just against the counter go decks. And then we got Jagged Scar Archers. You know, I believe this would be really good against the Geist of St. Tract. And we got Elixir Immortality, once again against the Burn Strategies or the Mill deck. And we run Reclamation Sage to go along with Viridian, taking care of artifacts or enchantments. If you don't have, you know, all the mana producing elves that I have, just throw one of these in there because this card is amazing. I'm pretty sure everybody got excited when they saw this card. Like I was so excited to see essentially a Naturalize on a stick. I was just psyched, especially for just 3 mana for a 2/1. Like that's amazing. All right, then we have Back to Nature for any of those. I haven't seen it yet, but any of those like kind of like Boggle decks, if that ever happens, any of the Aura decks where you just Voltron up, definitely take care of that with this. And this is awesome that it's at instant speed. A lot of people don't notice that it's at instant speed. That is amazing. And here's something that I would definitely put in here, and that's Arachnus Web. It's 3 mana for enchant creature, and enchant creature can't attack or block. And the main thing I like about this is that you can't activate abilities. That person can't activate abilities of that creature. And the reason why that's good is that some generals, they will basically, you know, go all in on the activated ability. Like, this would be so good against the mirror match. You put this on Ezuri, like, yeah, you better find Genesis Wave or your other win conditions to beat this. The only problem with this card is that at the beginning of your end step, if enchant creature's power is 4 or greater, destroy it. But really, you don't have to worry about that too much. Especially if, you know, Ezuri can't pump all the Leprechauns out there. And then we have Graveyard Hate for any recursion, Termite's Crypt. And I love Fog. I'm sorry. It's such a great card. Like, against any aggressive strategy, and especially because I don't want to be blocking with all my Leprechauns because I want to use them for mana later. And this just lets you go, okay, come in. Okay, no. And then just hope that you go off next turn or the turn after. So that is my Ezuri Leprechaun Ball Leader deck tech. Let me know what you guys think about it. And yeah, I just want to wish you guys a happy St. Paddy's Day. And like, favorite, and subscribe. Take it easy, guys.